The top 5 things you need to know before you start trading meme coins. Let's jump in. All right, so one of the first things you're going to want to master when you're trading meme coins, and the first tip that I have for you guys is the fees and understanding how fees work. Now, this is Axiom Pro. I've got a link in my description if you want to use this. I recommend it over all the other dashboards that you can use. It's got the fastest fills, and it has the lowest fees. So if you guys want to use Axiom Pro, check it out. I've got the link in my description. You guys can use the bot here. Now, as far as fees go, if you click on a coin, okay, you're gonna see that there are a few things that open up here. On the bottom here, you can see the recommended priority fee, and you can see the recommended bribe fee. Now, both of these fees are different. They serve two different purposes. I'll explain what they are now. So the priority fee and the bribe fee is a fee that you pay to the network, to the blockchain, specifically to the miners that are hashing the transactions. Now, the difference between the priority fee and the bribe fee is that the priority fee is on the public network. It gets paid on a public network. Anyone can see this transaction. The bribe fee is a private network, okay, and it's kind of like encrypted. So it goes through a separate channel where you cannot be affected by mev bots, and we're going to be talking about mev bots in a second. Now, most of these dashboards show a recommended priority fee. You can see here it's asking me for 0.03, and then on the recommended bribe fee, it's asking me for 0.03 as well. Now, these fees will change throughout the day based on network congestion. So if you're on a time where there's a lot of people trading, there's lots of congestion, it's going to be asking you for a little bit more prio fee. Now, I can show you what my fees are so that you guys can look at my fees, but it's up to you guys on what you want to use. Now, you'll see here on the buy, I'll just open this up here. I use my buy slippage 20%. I don't use any priority fee, but I do use a 0.5 bribe fee, and I have MEV protection on. Now, the reason I don't use a prio fee and only a bribe fee is that when you use MEV protection, you're doing it through an encrypted private network type situation. So you only need to pay the bribe fee. If you're doing it through using your public and you're not using MEV protection, then you don't have to use MEV protection, and you can get rid of your bribe fee and you can just put a priority fee instead. You do not need to pay both. You only need to pay one or the other. Now, I see a lot of people not doing this. You're pretty much giving away your free money. Now, when to use MEV protection, when not to use MEV protection. I would recommend using MEV protection on anything over a SOL. The reason that you want to use MEV protection is there are these bots that are on the market, and this is kind of tip number 2. There are bots that are on the market called MEV bots, and a MEV bot, essentially, it stands for maximal extractable value. It's a bot that what it does, it looks at all the transactions that are happening throughout the chain. And when big transactions go through the chain, let's say someone's buying with 10 SOL, the MEV bot will look at the transaction and it will fill you at a spot where you don't want to get filled. Like, let's say you bought here with 10 SOL, but you didn't have MEV protection on. Well, what the bot does is essentially it cuts in line in front of you, okay? And it buys your entry and then pushes the price up, and you get filled at the top. It's called getting MEV'd. You'll hear it a lot if you watch a lot of YouTube videos and you watch other content creators. You'll see that they get MEV'd because that bot is actively searching the market looking for big transactions, and it's essentially buying here and then it's selling on the next candle to make the most money that it can. That is why you want to use MEV protection. And again, I do recommend using MEV protection on any transaction over 1 SOL. If you're doing transactions like 0.5, 0.25, 0.1, then you don't need to use MEV protection. You can come here, you can turn it off, you can get rid of your bribe fee because you're not going to be using it. And then you can go with like a 0.02 priority if you want, or a 0.03, whatever it's asking you. I tend to always do a little bit more because I want to get filled. Now, tip number 3 is just that. What do these fees actually do? So when you submit an order to the market and you send it, you press the button, it sends the order to the market, right? The higher priority fee you have or the higher bribe fee you have, the faster that transaction is actually going to hash and the faster that transaction is actually going to take place. The reason that's important is because in volatile memes, let's say you want to buy right here, but the candle starts to move and you pressed buy right here. If you have a low priority fee and someone else has a very high priority fee, they're going to get filled here and then you're going to get filled after. So that's why priority fees is a lot more important and bribe fees are a lot more important than the actual amount that you're buying. Because if you're buying a big amount, but you're getting a bad fill, you're losing a lot of money there. Whereas you could have just paid a little bit more of the priority fee or a little bit more of the bribe fee and gotten filled. So again, in high congestion times, I recommend upping your fee if you can afford it. It's going to get you faster fills. And Axiom Pro has the fastest fills across all of the different bots that are being used right now, like Photon, BullX, Axiom. You definitely want to be using Axiom. So check my link out so you can get access to this. It is invite only. Now, that's kind of tip one, tip two, and tip three. The next tip here is really how much you should be buying. It's really going to depend on your bankroll. Now, think of it like this. If you look at one of these newer coins, right? And you got in right here, right after this candle sold, okay? You obviously have the best entry because everyone buying after you is going to be buying it at a higher market value, a higher market valuation. That being said, let's say you bought 10 SOL worth here at 3.9k and it went to let's just say 6k or 6.5. You essentially would double your money. So you would buy at 10 SOL and then you'd sell 20 SOL worth here and you'd make 10 SOL profit. You would double your money or make 100%. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because some people will try to spend a very low amount, like 0.01, 0.05, zero 0.1, like a very small amount, and then they'll immediately sell and get eaten up by these fees because the fee is cutting into your profit. Remember, you pay for it when you buy and you pay for it when you sell. So I would recommend if you're trading to trade with at least zero 0.5 to 1 SOL as a very bare minimum of each trade that you're actually trading. Because these people here that are spending 15 cents, $10, $2, $9, they're really not making a lot of money. This would have to blow up for them to actually get those big gains on their wallet. So before you start trading, I would 100% recommend to get at least 1 to 5 SOL in your account so that you can have a little bit of room there on how much you're willing to spend on your meme coin trading. That's my recommendation. That's tip number 4. Now the final tip that I have for you guys is going to be managing your over trading, managing when you're going in, and really trying to figure out how can I make the most amount of money with the least amount of risk. And simply put, the only way to really do this, if you really want a strategy that is going to work no matter what happens in the market, if you go into any of these coins, let's say I'm going to go into this coin here, which is a complete fake volume coin. I would never get into this coin. You can go to advanced trading strategies and then you can add stop loss and take profit areas. Now, I recommend the stop loss is probably going to be better. So at stop loss, you want to be maybe, let's say, 20% of the trade. You only want to lose 20% of whatever your initial investment is on every trade, because that means you can miss 5 times before you miss your entire trading value. So if you're betting with 1 SOL every time, you can get into 5 bad trades and completely hit your stop loss 5 separate times before that 1 SOL is gone. If you're doing a 20% stop loss, and then the amount you would put 100, because you want to sell your entire whatever you put in. If you're putting 1 SOL, you want to sell all of it at 20% stop loss, and then you could leave that as one of your trading strategies there. So a lot of it's going to be based on your trading strategy. A lot of people will let the people, when you're losing, a lot of people will have your losing positions run for a very long time, hoping that it's going to come back, but then they take their profits a little too early. So you end up actually giving back a lot of your position, and you end up not making and securing the bag as much as you'd like, because you're buying here, right? It's going against you. You're holding on to the position because it's losing, and you're hoping it's going to come back. 9 times out of 10, they just crash. Okay. So if that's happening to you, that doesn't mean you're a bad trader. It just means that you're timing your entries wrong. Whereas opposed, if you would have bought down here, that's a great entry. You bought on the dip and you would have rode that profit up. You can see here, that's roughly 10.2K, and then the top was 18K. So it's about an 80% win. So if you would have bought 1 SOL here, you would have made roughly 0.8 SOL, almost doubled your money. So that's why I say having the trading strategy will save you, because if you're up here, let's say you bought right there and you know that you're going to get out with only a 20% loss every time, you're leaving yourself a 20% loss, and you got in right here, that would mean that you would have gotten out of the trade right here. That you would have bought here and gotten out of the trade right here, right when this big candle broke through your stop loss, and you would not be holding the bag here. And you could have done that 5 times before you lost your initial investment, rather than just buying 1 SOL up here, watching the market come all the way down, getting out here. That's a much bigger loss. That's 36%. So now you can only lose 3 times as opposed to the 5 times. So if you're getting into meme coin trading, that's what I would recommend, is having some kind of trading strategy where you just stick to it. And what this is going to do, it's going to stop you from losing too much money too quickly, having a set 20% stop loss. And what's also important with this is that you want to have the right fees, because if your fees are very low, what'll happen is, yeah, you'll have a 20% stop loss, but you actually won't get filled because there's other orders that have better fees ahead of you. So you can still lose more than your 20% because of that slippage. And the final thing I'll talk to you about is that slippage. What is slippage? Simply put, slippage just means that, let's say you wanted to buy something at 10K. You wanted to buy something at 10K. And me, I have a 20% buy slippage. Okay. So that means that I am willing to give up 20% of where I wanted to buy to make sure that I get into the trade if the market is that volatile. So let's say I wanted to buy at 10K, but the market went up very fast and my order didn't get filled. The most that I could ever buy the coin at is 12K, because that's 20% of what my initial entry is. So the higher the slippage you have, the more the coin can move up and down before you'll get filled. Now, slippage is a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing, because essentially what you're saying is, look, I want to get in at 10, but I'm willing to get in at 12. Well, if 12 is the top and you get filled there, and then the market goes against you and you have the 20% stop loss, that's going to happen a lot. You're going to get stopped out a lot because your entry is bad. That is why it's important to have your fees set correctly. Because if your fees are set correctly and you have good slippage, 9 times out of 10, you'll actually get into where you want and you won't get filled at a higher price. So if there's anything you take away from this video, is set your priority correctly. And if you notice that you're not getting filled, set your priority up a little bit more. If you're still not getting filled, then increase your slippage. But you only need to do that when the market is super volatile. Right now, this coin is not moving at all. So I could literally put like a slippage of like 2% and it's going to fill me because it's not moving 2%. By the time I click the button, it's not the coin is not moving 2% in value that quick. It's kind of just dead. So this slippage is only really good for whenever you're getting into a coin that's got a lot of movement, something that's moving up and down really fast. Like this, see how it's kind of moving? You want to make sure that you have your slippage set. You want to make sure that you have your fees set correctly. So that's the video. I hope it helped out, and I hope some of it made sense. And if you guys have any questions, put it in the comment section. If you want to connect with me and you want to trade with me, you can join our Discord. It's in the description. You can join our alpha group. It's completely free. I've got a bunch of people in there already. It's about 50 of us that are in there, and we trade every day. You can come and jump in and ask any questions that you guys have. If you liked the video, be sure to subscribe. Helps me out big time. I'm going to be dropping some more videos like this in the future regarding, you know, the markets, and I'll even do some videos of my profits and my trades that I'm taking and kind of give you a walkthrough on why I'm taking them. So if you're interested in watching that, hit the sub button. Helps me out. You'll be one of the first people to watch those videos. And that's really all I got. Thank you so much for all the support. Until next time, guys. Peace.